Hello, hello, and welcome to Defining Debra. Let me say, this trying to learn how to vlog is a lot harder than I anticipated, and it takes a lot of time. So I give credit out to the people who have been doing this for years and years and have been consistent with it because I just either seem like I can't find the time or I'm just not in the mood for some reason. Wow. This is really making me look so big. It looks like my boobs are humongous. Um, so I wanted tonight to just, or this evening, to go into kind of why I'm doing this, who I am, and all of that kind of stuff. Please work with me. I just got some lighting. Don't know what the heck I'm doing. Still have not figured out how to edit correctly or put my thumb, what's it called? Thumb something, like when you put the little thing up there saying what you're talking about and all that. I did get me a logo that I really love, so I'm just kind of like a fish out of water, and I'm trying to learn how to swim and get it, get it right. I'm trying to see if somebody would be willing to assist me, so if anybody happens to see my video and want to show me how to edit and how to set it up, and get it going the way that it can look a little bit more professional versus it looking like a 50-something-year-old woman trying to vlog, which is what I'm doing. Excuse the noise in the background. Parker, come here. I don't know if anybody noticed in one of my other videos, when I was doing the Target, the Target one about what I got. I have a little friend, so I should name this Defining Debra and Parker. Say hi. Say hi. Boo boo, look. Say hi. Look at the camera. So this is my puppy. He's about 7 months old now, and he is a Yorkie who needs a haircut. And so, yes, he's a busy little fella, and his name is Parker. So, I gave him, here it is, you're about to knock the camera over. Here, look. Okay, sorry. I forgot what I was talking about. See, that's what happens when you're in your 50s. You say one thing, somebody distracts you, you don't know what the heck you're talking about after that. Let me see. I don't know. Maybe it'll come back up. So, yeah, he's a busy little fella. So I don't know what possessed me to get a dog. I've always loved dogs, always had dogs, but always had large dogs. And so my last dog was named Garner, and he was a chow lab. And some pits in the neighborhood ended up killing my baby. And so it took me about a year or so to get over it. So I thought, well, I'm getting older because trying to walk Garner back when I had him, he would be walking me because he was so strong, and I don't exercise, as you can tell. Trying to get back into that. So I was like, well, let me get a smaller dog since it's just me. Then that way I can kind of keep a handle on him. Not so much, because when he gets loose, he is so fast, he's so quick, and if I could just take me in his day sometimes, when he snags something out my hand, like he loves paper towel, so as soon as I put it in my hand, if I'm not paying him any attention, he's going to jump up, snatch it, and run, and then I'm trying to chase him, because ultimately he's going to tear up all these little pieces all over the house. So yes, he keeps me quite busy when I'm at home. I thought that I was a little lonely, so let me just kind of start there. I am 57. I will be 58 in August. And so close to 60. I cannot believe it. For those of you out there who are in your 50s, do you think of yourself as being in your 50s? It's like mentally, I am not in my 50s. And I'm regretting not having more time. But I can look at myself and say, okay, you're in your 50s because you don't have the 20-year-old body anymore and none of that stuff and all that. But I'm more self-assured, mature, and all those other things that come along with age, hopefully. So, yeah, I'm divorced. I was married about 18 years, and that's a whole video in itself. But so I'm divorced. I've been divorced now about I want to say 2, almost 3 years. So getting back out in the dating scene for any woman that has any great ideas on that, let me know. As a matter of fact, you know what? I wanted to do Mondays, mental health Mondays, because I am a counselor. And I didn't prepare anything for today. I thought I would just talk about why I'm getting on here to vlog. So I'll start that next Monday. This is my intent, is to do Monday, Wednesday, and Saturdays. That's what I'm striving for. Now, whether I get it all done, I don't know. So, yeah, I was going to do last night, and then I started watching TV and watching other people vlogging, and I just didn't do it. And so then the day I worked, and yeah, I came home. I had gotten lasagna from one of my favorite places to eat. If you're ever in Columbia, South Carolina, you have to go to Pizza Palace. It's a Greek restaurant, but it has more than just Greek food, but their food is awesome. Shout out to Pizza Palace. So yeah, I stopped by there and got me some lasagna because I didn't feel like cooking, and which made me get off of my whole eating green thing. But I ate well today as far as healthy. So I figured the pasta, hopefully, okay, look at me. It can't do, I mean, really, how much more damage is it going to do? Yeah. So, but I have been thinking this weekend a lot about the fact of where I'm at in my life and all that. And like I said, even though I'm in my 50s, as far as financially, career-wise, and all of that, it is going awesome. I mean, I cannot complain. What I have found that there's an issue with is the whole thing with dating at this stage. And I'm part of a Facebook page with women 50 and older. And then I have friends who are 50 and older. And we all have come to the same consensus, and maybe it's just us here in the South, that men have really changed. And when I got divorced, I really had not anticipated the dating pool to be all, I don't know, minnowed up and yucked up and slimed up and all that kind of stuff, because I'm meeting men in their 50s who either don't have anything, and it's not like they lost something in a divorce or something. They just never accrued at anything. They don't even have their own homes. They don't have their own car. They got a piece of a job. They're wanting to live off of you. And for some reason, in this day and age, they think if you're 50 and older and maybe you got a little weight on you, that you're a desperate woman. Let me say this. Women in their 50s can still have sex if they want to. They just may not want to have sex with the people who are asking to have sex with them, okay? So that is not the issue. So I had friends who were like, do online dating. You got to do the online. And, okay, I had no clue about online dating whatsoever. So I got on a couple of sites, and yeah, that was a bust because I had a guy that was trying to catfish me. That's another story. I mean, that could be just one vlog in itself. Then the ones who are married, a lot of married men. The ones who don't look anything like the picture where they're at now. They got a picture of them in their 20s or 30s, and now you're in your 50s and you don't look like that. The ones who say they don't drink, they don't smoke, they don't do all this stuff, and then when you meet them, they're doing every last thing they said they didn't do. So, yeah, or just the ones who talk a good game about sex and can't even perform anymore. That one was really quite a surprise. So, yeah, I'm going to be very honest and true and raw on these vlogs, because I'm like, hey, women ought to know, and I'm sure I'm not the only one experiencing this, that the men in their minds, they're still 20 and can perform in their 20s and 30s, but in reality, they cannot. Okay, so that didn't go over well, and personally, I just got kind of tired. And then you realize that all the same men are using all the same, online dating sites. So the ones that are on POF, if you don't know, Plenty of Fish, are going to be on Match. The ones that are on Match are going to be on the ones over 50. The ones over 50 are going to be on the Christian ones. And so it's just the same guys just rotating, I guess, figuring they could hit all of them and get more women. It was funny because I put on my profile that if you wanted someone that was just going to talk sex to you and send you nude pictures, don't contact me. Well, I didn't get anybody contacting me. Surprise? Yeah. So I'm like, if I'm gonna sit here and talk nasty to you and all that, then you need to pay me $5.99 or what is it, $6.99, $7.99 a minute now. I mean, I want to get paid too, because I'm not getting nothing out of it. Maybe there are people who get something out of it. I'm not knocking it, but for a stranger that I really don't know, for me to tell him how I feel if he was doing this, this, and this to me, and I have never seen you, really? Come on. So yeah, so that really didn't work. And then I do have a friend that owns a bar, and I go and hang out with her, on weekends or every now and then. And met some guys there, but they pretty much were just like the same guys that I had met on the websites, except for I was meeting them in person. So I just decided, you know what? I'm just not going to. Just don't be with anybody. And, time has gone on, and I was just like, well, you know what? I don't think that's fair to me. I'm still a viable woman that should be able to have a friend. I'm not looking to get married again right now, or ever. I'm not sure. But I know right now that's not what I want. But I would like a companion that, go out, eat dinner, movies, take small trips, laugh, talk, all that kind of stuff. Companionship. That shouldn't be so hard to be able to get, you would think. So this is what I did. Oh, my little light source is really making me trying to have a hot flash, which is another thing. So I was scrolling through the phone, and I don't even know what I was on. Oh, I was checking my email. And under promotions, there was this thing about matchmaking. And so I thought it was another website. I really didn't pay it that much attention. And I was at work, and I was like, oh, what the heck? I hadn't seen this one before. It's for over 50. Let me just go ahead and do it. But as I was filling it out, I realized that this is not a website. It is one where the matchmaker matches you up with somebody. And so I was like, well, years ago, I never would have done that. So I texted one of my girlfriends, and I was like, well, what do you think? You think that's chintzy, or you think I'm desperate by doing that? She was like, girl, please. I got my man off of the internet, so what can I say? So I was like, yeah, you're right. So talked to the young lady. She was all enthusiastic and all that. So I go on Saturday to have an interview, because you have to interview with them for them to make sure that you're who you say you are and that you're not married and all these other things. So I'm going to try it. I'll let you know how it goes, and if I meet a guy and if it's profitable, maybe it's a company that I can send a shout out to, over my vlog. I'm not going to say their name now because I don't know. So let me try it out. And that's kind of the part of the purpose of me doing this, is that I've always been that type person that if I was going to do something, I wanted to do it with somebody else. And I'm finding that now that I'm not married, my children are grown, and it's just me. And a lot of times my girlfriends are with their husbands or their mates, or, they may not want to do what I want to do. I've never been prone to want to do things by myself. So in 2020, I'm trying to push myself out of my comfort zone and do some things. So I went to the movies a couple of times by myself, which wasn't bad because I just went early in the day before the kids were out of school and all that, so I could actually hear the movie. And, that wasn't bad. I went to see Cats. I thought the movie was going to be so much better. I had heard so much about it. I really wanted to see it on Broadway and all that. And I'm just like, I had to read a whole write-up about it to figure out what the movie was about. I mean, I wasn't as impressed as I thought I was going to be. So, yeah, wasn't that impressed with Harriet either. Everybody went so, I don't know, they had big raves about it, but I was kind of fast-forwarding it through it because it was kind of boring to me. Maybe it's just me. So that's one thing that I've done. And then I've noticed when I've gone out to eat lunch with friends that I noticed that there's quite a few single women who go to eat lunch between 1 and 3, after the lunch rush, but before the dinner rush. And so, they're in there with their books on their phone or whatever. And I was like, well, that would be a good time to go. So I actually ended up eating by myself, not on purpose. I was meeting a friend of mine, and she got caught up in traffic. She was on the other side of town. I was on one side of town, and I was just starving. So I was like, well, I'm going to go ahead and go in here and order. So she was still stuck in traffic after I had ordered and got my food, and I sat there and ate. And it wasn't that bad. but you do kind of want to have conversation with somebody. But nowadays you have your phone, so you can use the phone and eat. So some of the other things I wanted to do was venture out and do some things. So I thought one way for me not to feel so totally by myself is that if I took you with me, and then I would do it, and I would feel like I had people with me, so that would encourage me to do it, and then you could see what I was doing. So yeah, and I had a point about that when I first started about something I was gonna do. Can't think of it now. I don't know what is going on with me today. Maybe it's because it's the end of the day. Um, so that is some of the things, like places I want to go in South Carolina that I've never gone. I've traveled extensively around the world and everything, but not a whole lot in this state. So there are things as the weather's warming up that I want to do. So I'm going to take you with me. I'm also on this dieting trip that I'm on. So far, I ain't lost a pound that I can tell, but I am exercising and trying to eat healthy. I had my first smoothie today, which I have so far detested them, but I made my own. It was just a fruit one, and I put some flaxseed, and then I have this green organic stuff that for me to get my greens during the day, and I put that in there, and I made one probably about that tall, and I drank it all day, and it wasn't bad because I did it, and I don't like milk, so I used orange juice as my base. I said I was going to try coconut water, but it wasn't bad with me mixing. I think I did strawberries, pineapples, raspberries, some mango, some pomegranate, and it seemed like I had something else. I cannot think of what the other one might have been. But yeah, it's pretty good. So that did pretty good. And then I had a lean cuisine for lunch. And then I mucked it up with the lasagna. But it wasn't that big, and I didn't get a whole lot of extra. So we will see. I've been doing some yoga. I did a little Tai Chi today. I'm not so consumed with my size so much because I'm okay with where I'm at. I may never be a size 5 again. I'm all right with that. But, when you go to the doctor and they're like, well, your cholesterol is up, this is up, blah, blah, blah. So I'm starting to take her a little bit more seriously. So I was like, all right, I don't want to be on all this medication, so I need to do better. So that is my main goal, getting some of the weight off so that I don't have to be on the meds. And also they've told me that I have degenerative arthritis in my knees, hips, and back. And I do know carrying the weight around my stomach makes my hips and back hurt. So just trying to get some of the weight off so my lower extremities can be like, thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll keep, hanging out with you a little bit longer. Let's see, how long have I been on here? Oh. So, yeah. So I am a counselor. I just working on my licensure, which that has been a whole process in itself. I graduated last year. The paperwork back and forth and trying to figure out how to get everything done. I just finally got that figured out, so I'm now sending the paperwork in so I can get on the registry here in South Carolina. And then I still have to do 2 years of working under somebody else before I'll be a fully licensed counselor. But right now I am what they call LPCA, which means that I'm like a counselor in training, even though I've been counseling people for probably 2 years now. So that has been my long life dream from when I took my very first psych class in high school. And that was back in 1979, 80. I fell in love, and then I took a whole bunch of detours as life goes on. But then I finally decided I was going to finish up because this was one of the goals that I said I wanted to do, and I didn't care how old I was. So I got my bachelor's in 16 and got my master's in 19. So right now I'm in the process of doing or getting ready to start an online class in the spring for my PhD. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go for it. I figured I might as well. I have the time. I don't have the distractions, that you have when you're younger and trying to do all this, and you have a family. So yeah, that's one of my goals. Maybe I'll bring you along on that. Maybe some of y'all want to help me write some papers or do some homework, because there's always a lot of writing in psychology. We talked about me losing some of the weight. eating healthier, venturing out and doing things by myself and not feeling like it's so lonely. And that's the point that I was thinking about. How many of you are out there, women, and it may be some men who happen to fall over into this vlog, feel like once you've gotten older, especially if you're not married anymore or your mate has passed along or whatever the case may be, that you find that you feel yourself lonely a lot of times. And so people are like, you're always busy, but I try to fill my time with positive things so that I'm not sitting around here feeling bad about myself because I don't have a significant other, or, I'm not a person that likes to visit a whole lot, so my friends know that I'm not a big visitor. And then I'll even say I'm going to do something, and when the time comes, I change my mind. So yeah, part of it is my fault because I could have a more active social life because I do have friends that invite me to do things, but I don't go. So I'm trying to do better with that because now they're to the point like, we ain't messing with you, because the day you say yeah, then come Friday, you're like, no, I don't want to go. So I don't know why I'm like that. So yeah, that's an area that I'm trying to work on too. I'm also looking at volunteering to help at a trauma center here for sexual trauma. I want to get certified in that area, and so by volunteering, they will go ahead and give me the training and the certification in sexual trauma. And right now I'm working with addiction clients and working on my addiction cert. So all these things together help to make you a more, well-rounded counselor, being able to work in more than just one area, concentrated area, plus having the experience in being there. So pretty much my life right now is kind of catered around me getting my whole counseling career kind of solidified, getting it all together. But in that, I still want to be able to have fun. I just don't want to just always be working, working, working. Because right now I just counsel on the weekends, and it's not every weekend. It's like 2 weekends out the month. But back in 2007, I started my own business, and it was just out of sheer, one was anger, another was disappointment, and survival. I worked for an insurance company, and they were downsizing my department. And it just so happened that the people that I worked for in that department didn't particularly care for me because I had to go to HR on them, which is another vlog in itself. But they couldn't do what they wanted to do, and so then they were mad because they really didn't have a leg to stand on because I was prepared when I went to human resource. So anyway, when the department had to be downsized, they said that they were going by seniority. Well, I had seniority, but because they were mad at me going to HR, I was one of the people that they said that could no longer be in the department. I had to find a job. Well, you know how companies are, especially corporate America. Initially, they said, well, you can find a job. We're going to open up. You can apply for as many jobs as you want. Well, I worked from home. So I was trying to find another work at home because I was accustomed to that. But if I couldn't, I didn't mind going back into the office. And so then before the month ended, they were like, well, we're going to end up just giving you guys jobs because for those of you who haven't found a job or you haven't gotten interviews enough, then we're just going to give you one. So they gave me a position in a department that, let's just say, me being an African-American woman, it would not be the department for me to be in, which I was shocked with this company because it was not a company that didn't have, culturally, there were people of all races and all that, but this particular department did not have anybody of any color in it, and I was surprised. So I called a friend of mine that was in HR, and I was like, hey, what's up with this area? Because I got a lot of attitude when I came there anyway. And she was like, oh, that's a bad, that's just bad. They're very prejudiced over there. They usually don't hire people of color in that, which I was just totally shocked with this company that they even had a segment of their corporation that was still like this. But I'm in the South. So I just made up my mind that I was not going to go through that I had had enough of being judged on, stop it, Parker, on being a woman of color and all this stuff. I had just had my fill. And also at the time, it was one of the times that my husband had disappeared and went on the lam. Like I said, my whole marriage could be a lifetime story. So I knew I had to take care of my son. I had this big old house plus an apartment building that I was managing. So everything was just left on me. So I went to church, talked to my pastor, and I was like, well, I'm thinking about leaving the company and starting my own business, which was something I had always wanted to do, but just never stepped out on it. So we prayed about it. At the end of that month, I just turned all my equipment back in and told them that I was resigning. So initially, I was going to start to be a caterer because I always liked cooking, and my grandmother always said, if you can cook and clean, you can work. So catering was great, but you didn't always have consistent jobs. And then you have people who want filet mignon but want to pay you hamburger budget. So, it didn't always go together. Plus, it's a lot of work when you're making everything from scratch and it's just you. So I did have those, but in the process of that, I met people, and I had people that wanted me to tutor. I had people that wanted me to, would I clean a house? And, at this point, I had a child to take care of. I'm like, yeah. And then the kids liked me when I would clean, so they were like, well, you babysit. So I ended up having a business, which I called the Second You. And my motto was, I'll do anything that you don't have time to do. So I would cook, clean, tutor, babysit, run errands, be house manager, be there when you have like the cable people coming, or take your clothes to the cleaners, go do grocery shopping for you. I mean, I did a multitude of things. And I did that from 2007 to 2014. Yeah, because it was very lucrative. I was really surprised, and I'll tell anybody, if you have a passion, if you have the fortitude, and if you have the stamina, you can make anything happen. Because this was me doing this, and I had an associate's degree. I didn't have no money to start a business because, like I said, my husband had up and left. So here I was, I had all this stuff and trying to make it all work. And then the job that I had, I got paid very, very well. So I was talking about leaving that. So now I'm trying to cover all of this. Didn't have no idea how it was going to work. And I started with my broom, my mop, my vacuum cleaner, and my cleaning products out of my house. And that's how I started. And yeah, I ended up doing quite well. Was able to hire 2 people later on. And it just got to the point, though, that when you have clients, and most of you who have your own business, if you start out and they're used to you, it doesn't matter who you bring in. They're never happy with the work that they do. They always want you. And then my business had gotten big enough where I couldn't be at 3 or 4 places at one time. And then my husband had came back, and he was trying to muck the business up too, so out of jealousy. So that was another thing. But I worked until 2014, and then I went back to corporate America simply because I decided I wanted to finish getting my degree. And because I had started back in 2012 or 10, working on it, taking a class here and a class there. And I knew I just wanted to finish up the last couple of classes that I had. And so part of the thing I was doing was I had like a nanny business in the mix of all this. And so being with a child from 7:30 to 4:30 or 9 to 5 or whatever, just didn't leave me the time to still be able to take care of my family and go to school and all that. So I just figured being out of the loop like that, I just thought I would just give it up and go back to corporate America, which is what I did. And went back to the company that I was working for before. Still horrible management. So I ended up going to another company that paid me more money. And I just recently left them, what I call semi-retired. I was just sitting at work one day and I was like, you know what? I have graduated. I really want to be a counselor, and I'm kind of tired of people telling me, your quality ain't this. And, I was just like, I think I'm going to take me a little break and see if I just want to get out of this racket altogether. And I did that in September, and I never went back. And so I got the weekend gig, and I am prior military, so I do get disability, and I'll do a vlog on why I get disability and all that. I was in the Air Force, so they upped that, and I get a good percentage now. I don't get 100, but I get pretty good. So it allows me to be able to be a little bit more flexible. And so then I was able to get the weekend job. And then I am now in the process. I bought 2 acres of land. I live in the country here in South Carolina. And so I bought 2 acres because I wanted to build me a house. And I was thinking, I really don't want to get so much in debt where I'm borrowing all the money to build a house. I do have some savings, but I don't want to use all that because I use part of it to buy the house and a condo, a rental, as a rental property. So I figured I would go back to work on the nanny side because I'm like, I can always watch a child. So yes, I just recently went back. I'm in my second week of working with children again. I have a little 3-year-old, which is quite entertaining. My grandmother always said that having children keep you alive, or keep you active, and that's true because yeah, she can be quite a pill sometimes because she's not used to having any structure, and the parents want me to teach her structure so that she'll be able to be prepared for school at the end of this year. So yeah, we be doing this all day long, but it's funny because even though she bucks against the structure, she wants it, and she knows that I'm not going to do any harm to her. So I don't know. Some days I'm like, oh my God, why am I doing this? And then she'll do something cute and sweet and be nice, or So yeah, it's very rewarding. I used to say when I stopped doing that when I went to corporate America, nobody is giving me a kiss and a hug and saying, I love you, Miss Debra. So, hey, I'm back to doing that. So that's what I do during the day. And like I said, I work on the weekends, not every weekend. And that's pretty much it. The other parts of my life, I'll do separate vlogs for, because it's just so much. But I did want to leave you guys with a question, and I'm always like this. I like to think. So hopefully the people that watch the vlog will find me interesting enough, and they might want to be able to think with me. You can leave comments. Please subscribe, and leave comments, because I would love to be able to interact and get other people's ideas and feels. I'm hoping that this thing will grow where I'm talking to women from all over the world, because I really believe that all of us have something to give, and all of us are connected in some way just by being women. So with the election coming up this year, and being in South Carolina, we have our primary this Saturday coming up. And so I've gotten more politically savvy since our last president came into play. And this is not knocking anybody who voted for him. That's neither here nor there. That's a personal choice of your own. But as women, I find that there's never really topics or anything in the forefront that they're discussing that really pertains to us, as far as better pay, as far as being equal in the workforce. They're always trying to take away the women's right as far as them being able to, whether or not they want to have an abortion or not. That's always in the play. It's like they're always discussing things for us, about us, but never to us. And so I just wanted whoever saw this, your ideas, or what's your thoughts on that? The fact that when you look at the people who are out there running for office, even if it's your local representatives, are they ever talking about how they can make things better for us as women? Is anything that they say important enough, when it comes to the plight of the woman? Because even the women who are running, they're saying pretty much the same thing as the man. So, yeah, I found that interesting. And then I would like to say, do you think America is ready for a female president? I think we are. I don't think we can do any worse than any of the men that we've had. And do you think they're ready to have a man or woman who is gay? Because I think, even if that person is the best choice, I think that they would let that stop them from being able to vote for that person. So, yeah, I just have a lot of thoughts of what's going on, who I want to vote for. I'm not for necessarily any party. I'm for the person who's going to be the best fit for where it is that I want. Like, right now, I'm looking at women's rights. Senior citizens. I'm a senior citizen. AARP stuff. I'm a vet, so I'm looking at, what are you going to do about the vets, and how are you making things better for us, or is it still going to continue to be half-butt as it is now? I'm a woman of color, so I'm looking at things that they're doing for the African-American community. Health care, because I'm older and I'm going to be on Medicare at some point, And then, you know, Social Security. What about Social Security? So I'm looking at a lot of different things that I didn't look at, of course, when I was in my 20s and 30s. So just tell me your thoughts on that. And Parker, you want to say goodnight? Guess not. He's playing with the plastic water bottle that I gave him. And so, yes, please come back. Please share this time with me. And I guarantee as I get better at this, it'll get livelier, it'll pick up. So thank you for tuning in with Defining Debra, because we're going to really figure out what's going on with me and what defines me as a person. And hopefully you'll find out what's defining you as a person. So I'll see you next time. Good night or good evening, wherever you are. Good morning. Bye.